Colonel Potter, sir. Corporal Klinger. I'm Section 8, head to toe.
What if I told you that one of the most beloved TV shows of all time rarely became the hit we know today? MASH wasn't just a sitcom, it was a cultural phenomenon that made audiences laugh, cry, and even question the meaning of war. But behind the laughter and drama, there are secrets and surprising details most fans never knew. From record-breaking finales to shocking cast shakeups, here are 10 incredible facts about MASH that will leave you amazed. 10. The show outlived the war.
I'm wearing a Warner bra. I play with dolls. My last wish is to be buried in my mother's wedding gown.
When people think about MASH, they often forget one simple but shocking truth. The show ran much longer than the actual Korean War. The war itself lasted only about 3 years, from 1950 to 1953. MASH, on the other hand, stayed on television for a total of 11 years. That means audiences were watching fictional doctors and soldiers deal with war nearly 4 times longer than the real conflict lasted. This unusual fact made the show stand out in television history, because it transformed from just a war comedy into something much bigger. The extended run gave the writers space to dive deeper into the lives of the characters. They were able to show the long-term struggles, the heavy toll of loss, and the friendships that kept people going in tough times. What began as a sharp, satirical take on war grew into an emotional exploration of humanity. By the time the show ended, the Korean War was long over, but viewers were still connecting with the lessons it carried. Many even drew parallels between MASH and the Vietnam War, which was fresh in America's memory. This unusual overlap gave the show a timeless quality and ensured its place as more than just a sitcom. It became a cultural reflection that outlived its original setting. That's what makes this one of the most incredible facts about MASH. 9. A different ending was planned.
Well, everybody knows war is hell. Remember, you heard it here last.
War isn't hell. War is war and hell is hell.
The finale of MASH is one of the most iconic episodes in television history, but what many people don't realize is that it almost ended in a completely different way. The writers went through several drafts, each with a unique vision for how to close the story. Some of the early versions leaned heavily on comedy, staying true to the lighthearted spirit that made the series so popular. Others were darker, focusing on the tragedy and chaos of war. The challenge was finding the right balance that would honor the tone of the show while giving fans a powerful goodbye. In the end, they chose a finale that was both emotional and reflective. It delivered heartbreaking moments, but it also gave viewers the sense of hope and humanity that defined MASH from the very beginning. More than 100 million people tuned in that night, making it the most watched television episode of all time. That incredible moment wasn't just the end of a show, it felt like the end of an era. The fact that the writers had to carefully debate and craft the final chapter shows just how important MASH had become. It wasn't just another sitcom. It was a cultural event that left a permanent mark on television history. That's why knowing about the alternate endings makes this one of the most fascinating facts about MASH. 8. A cast member quit early.
War is the world's favorite spectator sport. Give me some more skin sutures.
One of the most surprising facts about MASH is that not every cast member stayed for the long run. The show became famous for its characters, but in the early seasons, some actors decided to walk away. One of the biggest shakeups came when Wayne Rogers, who played Trapper John, left the series after only 3 seasons. His departure was a shock to fans because his character was a central part of the dynamic with Hawkeye. The two of them created some of the funniest, most memorable moments in the show's early days. Behind the scenes, Rogers was unhappy with the way his character was being written. He felt that Trapper John was often overshadowed and that the spotlight leaned too heavily on Hawkeye. Eventually, he chose to leave, and the writers were forced to make a big adjustment. Instead of trying to replace him with a similar character, they introduced B.J. Hunnicutt, played by Mike Farrell. The shift changed the tone of the show, creating a different kind of partnership for Hawkeye. This casting change could have been a disaster, but it ended up giving MASH fresh energy. Fans embraced the new character, and the show continued to thrive. Still, the departure remains one of the most talked about moments in the series. It proves that even in a beloved show, not everything went smoothly behind the camera. 7. Real doctors were involved.
war going on. War is the world's favorite spectator sport. That means more skin sutures.
Another incredible detail about MASH is the way the show strove for authenticity. Even though it was technically a comedy, the medical side of the series was taken very seriously. The producers wanted the surgical scenes to look and feel as real as possible, so they brought in real doctors and medical consultants to guide the actors. These professionals helped the cast learn how to hold instruments, move around the operating room, and perform procedures in a way that mirrored real life. Alan Alda, who played Hawkeye, was especially committed to accuracy. He believed that the show should treat the medical side with respect, even when the story leaned toward humor. Thanks to the input of real doctors, many of the surgical moments carried an intensity that reminded viewers just how serious the work was. Instead of being sloppy or exaggerated, the scenes showed the life or death stakes that doctors and nurses faced every day during wartime. This attention to detail made MASH different from other sitcoms of the era. It gave the show credibility and balance, mixing comedy with moments of raw emotion. Viewers could laugh one moment and then feel the tension of an operating scene the next. It's a big reason why MASH resonated with both veterans and civilians alike. The involvement of real medical experts elevated the show far beyond simple entertainment, making it one of the most respected series in television history. 6. Improvised moments became legendary. One of the most charming elements of MASH is how natural the comedy felt. That wasn't always because of the script. Many of the most unforgettable moments actually came from improvisation. The actors, especially Alan Alda, often added lines, reactions, or gestures that weren't originally written. Instead of cutting them out, the directors kept these spontaneous touches because they made the characters feel more real. Improvisation gave the show a unique energy. Scenes that could have been predictable turned into memorable highlights thanks to the creativity of the cast. For example, some of the funniest one-liners came when Alda decided to riff off a situation rather than stick to the dialogue. Other cast members also embraced the freedom, turning serious moments into lighthearted ones or adding humor in unexpected ways. These unscripted touches helped balance the heavier themes of war and loss, reminding viewers that even in dark times, laughter still found a way. This approach gave MASH its timeless quality. It didn't feel stiff or staged like many sitcoms of the era. Instead, it felt alive, almost like you were really watching the doctors and nurses of the 4077th deal with unpredictable chaos. That blend of planned storytelling and unscripted brilliance is one of the reasons fans still talk about the show decades later. Improvised scenes became more than filler, they turned into legendary moments. That makes this one of the most incredible facts about MASH. 5. The finale broke records. When it comes to television history, few moments compare to the finale of MASH. Aired in February 1983, the episode titled Goodbye, Farewell, and Amen became more than just another ending. It turned into a global event. More than 100 million viewers tuned in to watch, making it the single most watched television episode in history. To put that into perspective, more people watched the MASH finale than many Super Bowls of the era. This record-breaking moment showed just how deeply the show had connected with audiences. For 11 years, viewers had laughed and cried with the characters. By the time the finale aired, people felt like they were saying goodbye to real friends. The final episode was long over 2 hours, and it managed to deliver both heart-wrenching emotion and bittersweet humor. It gave closure to the characters while also sending a message about the costs of war. The finale wasn't just popular in numbers, it was powerful in impact. Families gathered in living rooms across America, and workplaces reported noticeable drops in activity that evening because everyone was watching. It was truly a shared cultural experience, the kind that rarely happens anymore. Even today, decades later, the MASH finale still holds its record and is studied as a landmark in television history. 4. The cast faced harsh filming conditions. MASH may have been set in Korea, but the series was filmed in California. At first, that might sound convenient, but it actually created serious challenges for the cast and crew. The shooting location was a ranch in the Malibu Mountains, and during the summer, the heat could be brutal. Actors wearing heavy Army uniforms and standing under hot lights sometimes worked in temperatures well above 100 degrees. The dusty setting added to the discomfort, making long days feel endless. On the flip side, winter filming had its own problems. The California hills did not always match the Korean climate, so clever tricks had to be used to make the scenes believable. The cast sometimes wore parkas and acted like they were freezing even when it was warm, or they would sweat in full gear while pretending it was winter. These tough conditions made the production grueling, but the effort paid off. Viewers believed every moment and felt transported into the war zone. This detail highlights the dedication behind MASH. Despite the discomfort, the actors pushed through, knowing the story they were telling was worth it. Their struggles made the performances more authentic because you could often see the exhaustion and strain in their faces, emotions that fit perfectly with the tone of the show. The tough filming conditions stand out as one of the most incredible facts about MASH, proving that the realism on screen came at a real cost behind the scenes. 3. Alan Alda's historic influence. When people talk about MASH, one name always stands out: Alan Alda. While he was famous for playing Hawkeye Pierce, his role in the series went far beyond acting. Alda became a driving creative force behind the show, shaping it in ways that few television stars ever have. Over the years, he wrote more than a dozen episodes and directed over 30. His involvement helped give MASH its signature blend of comedy, drama, and social commentary. Alda was known for pushing the writers and producers to explore deeper themes. He wanted the show to highlight the human cost of war while still delivering laughs. That vision helped elevate MASH from a simple sitcom to one of the most respected shows of all time. His direction often added a cinematic touch, making the series feel more like a drama than just a half-hour comedy. What makes this fact so incredible is the sheer scale of his influence. It is rare for a lead actor to also have such creative control, but Alda managed to do it with style. His leadership gave MASH consistency and depth, keeping it fresh over 11 seasons. Without his vision, the series might not have reached the same iconic level. His fingerprints are all over the show, making his behind-the-scenes work just as important as his on-screen performance. This combination of talent and influence is why Alan Alda's role is one of the most incredible facts about MASH. 2. The laugh track controversy. One of the most surprising behind-the-scenes details about MASH is the debate over its laugh track. At the time the show first aired in the 1970s, almost every sitcom on television included canned laughter. The network insisted on it, believing audiences needed that cue to know when to laugh. But the creators of MASH felt the laugh track didn't fit the tone of the series. After all, the characters were doctors and nurses working in a war zone, sometimes in the middle of surgery. Adding forced laughter to those moments felt wrong. Alan Alda and other members of the team argued strongly against it, but the network wouldn't fully back down. The compromise was unusual. Some episodes had a laugh track in certain scenes, but left it out during serious or surgical moments. Even stranger, in the United Kingdom and other countries, the show aired without any laugh track at all. Fans in those regions watched MASH with a very different tone, experiencing it as more of a dramedy than a sitcom. This ongoing battle over canned laughter became a defining part of MASH's history. It showed the tension between traditional television rules and the groundbreaking vision of the creators. By refusing to lean entirely on the laugh track, MASH proved that audiences could handle humor mixed with raw honesty. 1. The show's hidden tribute. The last incredible fact about MASH is a detail that many fans missed, even after years of watching. Throughout the series, the creators slipped in small tributes as a way of honoring real people connected to the war. Some character names were inspired by actual soldiers, while others came from personal friends or family members of the writers and producers. These subtle choices gave the show a layer of authenticity that casual viewers might never notice. Props were also used as tributes. For example, items seen in the background of the camp were sometimes linked to real-life stories. The set designers and writers used these little details as a way of grounding the show in reality. They wanted to remind audiences that, while the series was fictional, it was rooted in real human experiences. These hidden tributes gave MASH a deeper meaning. The comedy and drama worked on the surface, but underneath, there was a quiet nod to those who had actually served and sacrificed. This made the show more than just entertainment. It became a kind of memorial, wrapped in humor and heart. For fans who later discovered these details, the series took on an even more powerful significance. That careful weaving of hidden meaning is why the show's tributes remain one of the most incredible facts about MASH. MASH wasn't just another television series, it was a groundbreaking mix of comedy, tragedy, and humanity that left an unforgettable mark on pop culture. From hidden tributes to record-breaking finales, these incredible facts remind us why the show continues to live on decades after its final episode. But here's the real question. Which of these facts surprised you the most, and did it change the way you see MASH today? If you loved uncovering the hidden history of this iconic show, don't forget to hit that like button, share this video with other fans, and subscribe for more deep dives into the untold stories behind your favorite classics.